Well, guys, things are breaking. I mean, look at this. Salvage. Look at it, it's just falling apart all in my hand right there. This is garbage. The only thing that sucks is this was right above or right under the gas tank, which was protecting the gas tank from heat. And then I want to show you guys that sway bar. Just look at the movement here. So I'm guessing these are the bushings here. And you got a clunk coming from there as well. Alright guys, good morning. Nice to have you join me on the $300 Toyota Camry rebuild. So far today we removed the rear sway bar and the end links, and that was kind of pain to remove. We had to make sure we don't strip the bolts or anything. So what we did, we took the wire brush wheel, we brushed out all the corrosion out of there, we put WD-40 penetrating lube in there, and then we used the torch to heat everything up, and then we used the impact, and then gladly it came out. Again, those bushings were shot, as you guys seen from the last video. I think I'm not even sure where I am with these uploads or how I'm gonna upload these, but we got those removed. I put all the disc brakes back on. We're gonna be running a test once I get the exhaust welded up. We're just gonna be putting it in drive since the vehicle is up in the air. We're gonna stop it and see if any of the calipers are sticking. At this point, what I gotta do here is weld that exhaust piece. If you guys remember, it has a hole, so I pried this 2x4 up against the exhaust that is pushing the whole exhaust towards the engine, and that's perfectly what we need because we're gonna get the titanium flux 125 flux core welder out from Harbor Freights. We're gonna weld it. Hopefully we do a decent job welding, as again I'm a new welder here, and we're welding overhead, which is always a pain in the butt to weld overhead. But once we seal this thing up, I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds nice. My buddy was just over here, we were looking at it, revving it. It kind of got that Infinity G35 sound to it, and it sounds good with that exhaust. Like, I'm sure it sounds beast with the whole pipe off, but you know, nobody's gonna want it. We gotta make it luxurious and quiet, just like it was meant to be from the factory. There's no room in here, guys. Well, that sure as hell sounds like not enough juice. Alright, we're gonna crank the settings up on the welder here, because that's just not enough penetration. Let's juice it up a little bit more. A little bit more voltage. A little bit more juice. Let's give it another go, huh? There's just like no room. if it's a bad connection, bad ground. It just doesn't look good. It's not as clean as I thought it would be. Alright guys, it's been about an hour or so. I got it locked up, as you can see. The hardest part was trying to get the top of the pipe. That's always a challenge. So with this flux core welder, you know, the actual tip, the thing you hold, it doesn't have a good sharp angle to it, so it's just impossible to feed the wire through it to the top. Plus, you know, there's no room down here, but I'm pretty happy with what we got. Look, the pipe doesn't move at all. If it's leaking, it's just leaking barely any, you know, it's minimal leakage, which I'm fine with. It's way better than what it was. And the main problem was before, when you would drive, this pipe could have caused knocking noises, you know, and we've had a lot of knocking noises with this car. So hopefully with the front sway bar removed, with this welded together with the rear sway bar taken out, we're reducing a lot of the possible noises. And that's all we're trying to figure out, guys. All right, at this point I'm reinstalling the fog lights right there and the headlights. Now I'm having alignment issues, obviously, with the broken headlight that has no tab. We're drilling extra holes, putting in zip ties here and a zip tie here. For the most part, it's pretty sturdy in there, but I am noticing this gap right over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take the headlight out and I'm gonna pull this section of the fender out with, I'm gonna just tap it with a wooden mallet there, rubber mallet, and we'll see if that will fill the gap, because that doesn't look good. And I don't want to pull the fender further out because then we have the gap by the hood. So that's the only best option at this point. We pulled the fender just a bit, and as you can see, perfect right now. Minimal gap here, just what I want to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we got the front end reassembled, the headlights aligned as best as we can, the bumper aligned as best as we can. I think it's acceptable. Again, this is the side that got impacted, so this gap is a little bit bigger. This hood is pushed in. I tried to pull it out just a hair, but it's as good as it's gonna get. Now I took my old wheel spacer that I had, and I actually put the lug nuts on it from the wheel spacer onto here, so the rotor is nice and flush and flat. I tried to originally put the factory lug nuts, but they won't go all the way in. So on tomorrow's video, what I'm going to be trying to do, right now by myself, I cannot do anything else. What I'm going to be doing is starting the car, putting it in drive, getting the rotors spinning, hitting the brakes, just making sure these things spin properly, brake properly, and are not getting stuck. So that's going to be the experiment for tomorrow, to rule up any stuck pistons. Again, I re-greased everything, so it should be pretty good, but it's just another test to rule out if there's any other issues with the braking system, because what's common, which it never happened to me, but these brake lines swell and won't return the fluid back into the master cylinder. So that's a common problem. Other than that, my buddy came by today, he took a look at the car. He said for $300 this thing is an absolute steal at working, driving car. You know, the headlight refresh and the fog lights definitely make it seem a little bit nicer. Once we finish painting or buffing everything, it'll look a little bit better. The interior, again, very clean. Welded the exhaust today, so I'm pretty happy with that. Everything took a long time. Everything takes a long time with this, and you know, we'll see how much money we can make. But man, sometimes I'd rather do stocks than sit on a car. This is like my third, fourth day beating around the bush with this car, trying to figure things out. Luckily we got that sway bar end link off, and the sway bar, we're ordering those parts right now, and we're just waiting for things to come in. We're waiting for those studs to come in on this side. You know, we ordered a few studs because we broke it. It's a common problem. We ordered brand new lug nuts. We ordered sway bar bushings for the rear, and then once that comes in, we're gonna put everything back on, take it for a spin, see if we solved some of the clunking issues, see if it's still pulling to the right. If not, we're going to be starting to wrap this up, and I'm going to tell you guys about the title issue again. There's a big title issue that I kind of mentioned a few times, but don't worry guys, we'll get to it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Peace out.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true, but the world is pretty cold. You might need a sweater too. I'ma put a ride on ya. Kid from California, trying to make it in life. on my own. I've been working from home, I can do it on my own, but sometimes it gets